Welcome. Hello everyone and welcome to the DDA LTSS Maryland webinar. My name is Hima Puranam and in this webinar I will be walking you through the DDA Authorization to Participate or ATP form process. There are 6 types of ATPs utilized in the system. 5 are submitted by the DDA's eligibility team, including advisory authorization, which is used when a person is residing in an institution and seeking to transition into the community. The second type, which is submitted by the DDA's eligibility team, is authorization, which is used when the applicant meets the technical and medical eligibility criteria. The third type submitted by the DDA's eligibility team is ATP type of denial, which is used when a person does not meet the technical and medical eligibility criteria. The fourth type of ATP submitted by the DDA's eligibility team is denial overturned, which is used when a person wins an appeal. And the fifth type of ATP submitted by the DDA's eligibility team is disenrollment, which is used when a person does not meet the technical and medical eligibility criteria. There is one ATP type that is submitted by the CCS. It is the ATP type of notification which mirrors the ATP disenrollment and submitted to inform the DDA of changes to the participant's circumstances, such as moving out of state, entering an institution, choosing to enroll in another waiver program, and other reasons. When the CCS submits the ATP notification, the system will auto-generate an ATP disenrollment for review by the DDA staff. In today's webinar, we will review several examples. The first piece of information you will need to specify is the ATP type of the questionnaire form. The ATP type selection will drive what information is available and required within the form. Each respective ATP type will be described in detail throughout this webinar. You can look for clients who need an ATP form completed by going to the My Lists or in the Alerts tab for a specific client. In the Alerts tab, you will get notifications when ATP form has been submitted and to begin working on the ATP form. Here you see the alerts. And here, when you navigate to the My Lists tab and open the DDA ATP My Client list, you would see the My Lists for the ATP forms. Our first example is for regional eligibility staff to complete an ATP denial for the Community Pathways Waiver. ATP is for people who have died, moved out of state, voluntarily left DDA services, admitted to a state residential center or nursing home or hospital for 30 or more days, or have been discharged from the waiver but remain in DDA services. When completing an ATP for a specific client, you can search for the client and then select from the left side navigation menu from under the Programs tab the Authorization to Participate link, or directly navigate to this page from Alerts or My Lists. Once you have landed on this page, you'll click on the Add button here to the right. I'm going to go ahead and click on Add button. When adding the ATP questionnaire form, you will be prompted to select the program type, CP for the Community Pathways Waiver, FS for the Family Supports Waiver, and CS for the Community Supports Waiver. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and select CP, and you can click on OK or click on Cancel. If you wish to proceed with CP selection, you can click on OK. After selecting the program type of the ATP questionnaire form and clicking OK, you will be navigated to the ATP form. The first pieces of information you will need to specify is the associated Medicaid application date field, which is right here. The next field we are going to look at is the ATP type of the questionnaire form. This ATP type selection will drive what information is available and required within the form. As you see, it is a drop-down with options advisory authorization, authorization denial, denial overturned, and disenrollment as explained in the beginning of the webinar. For our example, the first one, we will select denial. The denial ATP questionnaire is issued when an individual has been deemed not to meet the Medicaid waiver's medical or technical eligibility criteria necessary to participate in the waiver program. When completing an ATP questionnaire form with an ATP type of denial, the reasons for denial to participate in the Community Pathways Waiver section will become available. And that will be within the form, allowing you to enter the Medicaid application date and specific reason for denial with the options related to technical eligibility, medical eligibility, and or lack of the document. Based on the determination, one or multiple reasons can be selected as to why the individual is being denied access to waiver program. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Medicaid application date. The technical eligibility, you can select one or more criteria. Medical eligibility, I can select the checkbox here. And lack of documentation, I can select either of this document which is not available. Once I am done with that, I can go ahead and complete the other required portions of this page and click on Save. I have now completed all the required sections and fields of this ATP questionnaire. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. And you see that the status now is in progress and I do see a Submit button. The technical eligibility section has various selections you can make for why the applicant's ATP has been denied. For example, the applicant is not a resident of Maryland, currently residing in an institution, chosen to enroll in another waiver program, and other reasons. The next section, the Medicaid eligibility, this section related to the waiver level of care requirement, and there is only one option that can be selected. And the last section is the lack of documentation. The lack of documentation section is the section where the applicant has failed to provide all documentation required to support their application. That covers all the sections of the ATP questionnaire of the ATP type denial. I'm going to go ahead and click on Submit, and I would be prompted with the confirmation question. Are you sure you want to submit? I can go ahead and click on yes if I want to submit, or click on no if I do not want to submit. I'm going to go ahead and click on yes, and I get a success message that the ATP has been submitted to EDD. Please note that for the denial of the ATP, there will be a letter created which will have the associated technical eligibility, medical eligibility, and or lack of documentation reasons will populate as the regional office's denial reason in the DDA regional denial letter. This ATP denial letter is generated and sent to the applicant by the EDD. It is also included in the LTSS Maryland letter section. The next type we are going to look at is the Authorization ATP type. When completing an ATP questionnaire form with an ATP type of authorization, the authorization section will become available within the form. You will have to answer the pre-ATP questionnaire. The next section is the authorization section of the form. This section will prompt you about the Medicaid application date, the PCP effective date, the signature date or freedom of choice statement, and waiver services effective date. Once you have selected the correct dates, you will move on to the signature information section. Once all the information has been saved, which you will do by clicking on the Save button right here, I'm going to go ahead and click on Save button. Once the information is saved, you can click on Submit to submit the ATP form, and that you can do by click on Submit button right here. A confirmation question would be prompted on the screen. Are you sure you want to submit? If you wish to submit, you can click on yes. If you do not wish to proceed, you can click on no. I'm going to go ahead and click on yes. Get a success message which says ATP has been submitted to EDD. The next type of ATP we are going to look at is the ATP type of notification. The ATP questionnaire form with an ATP type of notification is only available for the persons assigned CCS coordinator and the CCS agency supervisor. We will log in as CCS coordinator for this example. Now let us recap how we navigated until here. From the left side navigation menu, select the Programs tab and then under Programs, select Authorization to Participate link. You will now land on the list page wherein we have a repository of the ATP questionnaires. You will then click on the Add link on the ATP questionnaires panel. Once you click on that, you will be prompted to select the program type. It can either be CP, CS, or FS. Select the program type and click on OK. After selecting the program type of the ATP questionnaire form and clicking OK, you will be navigated to the form. The first piece of information you will need to specify is the ATP type of the ATP questionnaire form. You'll make the selection of notification for the ATP type. The first section to complete is the disenrollment and reasons for closing participation in the waiver or program. Select from the drop-down options the reference to what the individual is being discharged from. It can either be DDA services or the waiver program and remains in DDA services. Then select the associated reason such as the person is ineligible for medical assistance, deceased, admitted to a facility, moved out of state along with the associated date, or no longer receiving DDA services. I'm going to select moved out of state and enter the date moved. The next few sections labeled as technical eligibility, medical eligibility, and lack of documentation includes the same checkbox options that are included in the ATP disenrollment completed by the DDA. Some checkboxes include additional options which will appear including text boxes that must be completed based on the option selected. Like here, when I select based upon DDA's review of your person-centered plan, I get additional checkboxes to select from. In addition, you will be required to enter information within the signature information at the bottom of the form. As shown here, once you have completed all the information, you can go ahead and click on Save button. That will give us a success message that the record has been created. Once all the information has been saved, you can now click on Submit button on the top right of the screen or click on Discard button in order to discard the ATP questionnaire form. I'm going to go ahead and click on Submit. You get a confirmation question, are you sure you want to submit? If you want to submit, then please click on Yes. If you do not wish to proceed with the submit action, then you can click on No. I'm going to go ahead and click on Yes. And then I will see a success message that ATP has been submitted to EDD. Upon the submission of the ATP type of notification, the system will generate a new in-progress ATP with ATP type as disenrollment, and the data elements in the new in-progress ATP will be pre-populated from the submitted ATP of notification. As you see here, a new ATP of disenrollment is auto-generated and it is in the status of in progress. The ATP status changes to in progress and becomes active upon successful submission, and the status of the previously submitted ATP notification becomes submitted and inactive. When a notification ATP is submitted, an alert is sent to the regional eligibility supervisor and regional eligibility staff from the individual's assigned responsible region. As you see here, an alert has been sent to the regional eligibility supervisor for this individual, and the alert reads that a DDA ATP has been submitted for this individual. The regional eligibility staff will then be able to edit the disenrollment in the ATP. You can see the edit button in the actions column against the disenrollment ATP form, which is in progress and is inactive. After clicking on the edit button, you shall now be taken to the ATP where you can modify if needed. You as the regional eligibility staff can make any modifications to the disenrollment and the reasons for closing participation in the waiver or program. Once you confirm the information and have made the changes accordingly, you will come to the signature section and put your telephone number. Click on the Save button in the top right corner. Once you click on that, you'll be seeing a success message that the record has been saved. To submit the form, you can click on the Submit button. I'm going to go ahead and click on Submit button. The system will prompt you to confirm submission and you will click Yes to confirm, No if you wish to not proceed with the submit action. I'm going to go ahead and click on Yes. You will have a success message which reads ATP has been submitted to EDD. This ATP form is now submitted to EDD for review and action. Please note that for the denial of the ATP, there will be a letter created which will have the technical eligibility, medical eligibility, and lack of documentation will populate as the regional office's denial reason in the DDA regional denial letter. This ATP denial letter is generated by the EDD. In this webinar, we covered the different types of ATP and how the ATP type selection will drive what information is available and required within the form. This concludes our webinar for Authorization to Participate questionnaire. Thank you.